Hi, I'm Jack Sweeney.
And I'm Matt DeBeurs.
And
we're
talking
Sheetz.
See, I would still be working with you guys if you could have nailed that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can we have one more try?
No!
Oh,
I think it was good.
thank you.
Go ahead, Dan.
Even when we got nothing to talk about, there's nowhere I'd rather be. 'Cause there's something about you and me just sitting around talking Scheetz.
There is Dan Davidson.
You don't have to extra it every time. Like,
What is the time and the weather?
we're trying. We're trying, but it's like it's in them.
It's in him. The executive producer, Renato Pignani, again, my favorite son-in-law, said, turn down the announcer knob. Chris, turn it down a bit.
Can you do that?
It's really hard after all those years. It's currently 4 degrees. We're not getting enough snow for the farmers. Where else can I go?
Don't. There's things I miss and there's things I don't miss.
Do you want to read from the text line?
Thank gosh we don't have one of those.
Oh,
Chris Scheetz, Bailey Scheetz, as they tried to pull it off at the beginning, Jacqueline Sweeney and Matt DeBeurs are here. They are our first guests. They were most requested.
Yes.
You mentioned that it was interesting, though.
Yeah. In the comments, we asked what guests you would look forward to seeing, and Jack got a lot of love, and Matt got a lot of love individually as well. There was the Matt and Jack combo, but there was the we just want Matt or we just want Jack.
I feel like that's appropriate. Yeah.
can we name names? Like, can we call people out?
Jack really wants to know which one of them got more, though. I know that.
Yeah, I do. Like, did you put a little
Don't
tally?
say, all right? My ego is fragile.
I am not at liberty to say, but you both were the top guests. Maybe not equally requested.
Uh-oh.
That's a mom answer. Thanks, Mom.
You were both requested.
Okay.
You both get a gold star.
We're both having fun.
So far. It was definitely Jack. Now I'm all depressed.
No,
Oh.
but you'll never know how much she beat you by. That's the good
Did you
Oh.
give like a percentage?
I have
She
a lot
gets
of
a
power.
percentage, I'll tell you.
We're broadcasting from the storage studio, as we mentioned of last episode, that it was Karen's storage space, and it's no longer her storage space, and it's tight in here with 4 people, but I like it. We're used to working in close proximity, right?
I saw the promos that you guys put out and everything, and I'm like, where the hell is this? I'm like, first off, where's this awesome brick? Turns out it's just foam sound brick.
Don't reveal our secrets,
Yeah.
man.
But it looks
Matt.
great.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty
cozy. It's cozy in here.
I don't think it's that bad. It's great.
And here's the thing: when we worked together, for how many years did we work together on CISN Country?
At least a decade.
Yeah. Okay. And you guys, especially Matt, would complain every day because I wanted it cold in the studio. I thought we could perform a little bit better. There goes a ding.
Well, we're getting a text from the text line.
Oh, yes.
It's definitely not my personal text messages.
Turn on your lights.
Careful, if it's mean, Chris will call them.
That's something we got to talk about.
Yeah,
That's
we
so
definitely-
Okay,
We'll talk
we
about
will
that.
talk about that. But I was going to say that I liked it really cold in the studio, kind of like the David Letterman thing. He believed that if the colder it was, the more you were, could perform better. Like
We were a long ways away from New York, but go on.
right. And so Matt would have put a blankie on every day and and complain about it. So
I have not actually seen that blanket in a while.
Well, now I got to hit all the buttons, so I'm moving and shaking, right? So
It's warm.
I feel like if I was doing it now, I'd be like FDR, right?
Yeah.
With the blanket over my legs, my polio-stricken legs, like hitting the buttons. It doesn't really work.
You're working up a sweat now.
Yeah.
well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. But so it's warmer in here for sure. And I don't know how we're going to deal with that in the summer if and when we still have a podcast then.
That's only like 15 podcasts away.
That's a lot.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
Keep in mind we're on number 2.
And the other thing is that nobody can flush the toilet upstairs
Yes.
because if they flush it, you can hear it down here.
We
So-
learned a lot from the first episode, and one of those things was that, nobody can flush the toilet. We can't have the furnace on. So we're sort of just like everyone else besides us in the family is just sitting down. They can't move. They can't drink. They
Kind of
can't
sounds
pee.
like our working
Sure.
conditions too.
Yeah.
If it's yellow, let her mellow care.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
I was going to do it at some point later, but speaking of toilets, Jack,
I know where we're going with this.
Matt, you go.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
Chris is like, okay, what we before the show, he's like, what can we talk about? And like Jack walked in and
She had to go to the washroom.
I don't know, like, I was like, by the way, Chris, you know she's never taken a dump at work in 10 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
years, not even by accident.
And that's called an away game? Or,
yeah, like an away, never taken an away game.
Yeah.
That is, it's his pride and joy to poop
No,
on company
no,
time.
no.
Like, oh yes, they're paying me to poop.
No, like, the problem with working in radio is like,
Yeah.
and you know this, you work fast.
Yeah.
Gone in 60 seconds, right? Like I got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it. There's
Yeah.
no dilly-dallying. You got
Yeah.
to in and out. You're like a green beret.
I think that this might be a woman thing because
could
I
be.
do not go to the washroom very rarely outside of the home, certainly not at work.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
I think Chris and I, the one thing, you were a farmer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And like you, when you had to go, you had to go.
Farm pee, farm poop.
Yeah,
whatever.
like I worked landscaping and like I didn't get the luxury of going home. So I like the amount of Essos I pooped in Sherwood Park, extreme.
We could make
That's
a map.
not because of your profession.
Could be diet.
That's
Or my IBS.
We talk about the wage gap, but the poop gap might be even bigger.
But I will take that poop gap. That is fine. I am so proud of never pooping at work.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Are you proud of that?
Why are you proud of
Have you been
pooping so
close?
much?
Have you been close?
No, actually.
Never like knocking on the door and you're like, better go home.
No.
No close calls. Keep it in.
And I used to love to, when I knew Matt was going in to do that kind of stuff when we were on the air.
Yes.
I used to love to go in there, and the bathroom at Kissin, the cubicle is kind of messed up.
The classic North American cubicle has like that 1/4-inch gap or the 1/2-inch gap,
Yeah.
and the one at like Chorus where we work,
It's an inch.
Oh no, but like it would line up perfectly with the sinks.
Yeah.
So you'd have to like protect yourself, your dignity, and then if the person washing their hands looked to the right, you could literally lock a single eyeball on.
It was like a periscope shining right in there.
Like the cartoon eye in the periscope. It was awful.
I'm so
worst.
glad we didn't plan what we were going to talk about because
Yeah,
this
it's
is
really paying off.
this is a great start. This is a great start.
Right to potty humor.
Weird.
Never saw that coming.
No.
Never saw that coming. All right. Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's do a real quick, because not everybody knows Bailey and I. Not everybody knows you two. I mean,
Yeah.
there'll be people that are tuning in that, of course, listen to us for years, and we
Our big fan base from Europe.
Right on, guys.
Italy, huge in Italy.
The Pagnani family,
Exactly.
hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Jack, give us like the Coles notes of your story, your life story.
Well, I don't poop at work. There is the
Most
Coles
Do you poop at
notes.
home?
Yeah, let's not talk about this. No, it's rainbows.
Oh, yeah, right.
We know this.
Girls don't poop.
Yes. I don't know. The quick version, I've got 3 kids at home.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep up with life. Literally, every day is just one foot in front of the other, but started in television, went to radio, and decided, yeah, radio's for me.
How did Chris poach you? Because he poaches everybody.
He actually did it. It was me who begged for a job on CISN. I was working at Shaw TV at the time, which doesn't exist anymore, so good choice there. And I just said, yeah, radio is just so much more personable. You can follow along with everyone's stories, and you get to know your listeners, and it's just a positive space most days. and to me, that really spoke to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm so happy.
It is the most intimate form of communication. I mean, radio, like it's you, it's a listener, and there's nothing like that that bond you can develop, right?
Oh, you get to follow along with their lives, and they tell you when their children get married or they're being grandparents, and
Right.
it's just like it's amazing.
Right. All right. Yes, Matthew.
Nate grad like Jack.
Yes.
And Bailey. There's
And
3.
Bailey.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're the only
You
one.
taught it, Nate.
I did
Yeah.
teach it, Nate.
So I'll have a Nate connection.
We've given Nate a lot of airtime already in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. It's
Shout
true.
out.
But I mean, hey, look at what it's done.
I briefly worked at Kissin during Nate.
Right.
And like I opt that midday show with Scott Phillips. And I'd come in just as you were wrapping up with Jack
Right.
and Sean at the time. And I remember asking you a question. And it must have resonated with you because you've talked about it before. It's like, oh, that kid actually knows what he's doing. It's like, I'll remember that name. Anyways, I went to Kelowna for a job. And then
Bad decision. Bad decision.
eventually I
Yeah.
came back.
Good decision. Good decision.
I got a job through my mom's financial advisor, who used to be a salesperson at Chorus.
Right.
And then I was like looking for jobs the whole time, doing the worst evening show ever. It was bad.
Right.
And then I just like, I asked Chris, could I answer the phones,
Right.
answer the text messages, that kind of thing. And he said yes. So
Yeah. That was it.
yeah,
And
basically.
here you are.
Here I am in his basement.
Yeah.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
Yeah, and so that was it. And so then we clipped along and did our thing. And then May 10th of this past year, of course, that was a big change for me. And it decided that, again, at a certain point, it was, and I said this in the first podcast, the thing that I missed the most about that job is certainly, obviously, the two of you. And, I did say there's days where I would just love to just rip in there and kick Matt out of that chair, put him back in his blankie,
Sure.
listen to him
Me
snorting.
too.
The power dynamic's perfect by now. We don't need to adjust it.
We'll talk about that power dynamic
Yeah.
and how it's changed. But that was different for me, and certainly different for you guys as well. And how have things been going? I mean, we've certainly kept in touch, but it's not like that day-to-day thing. Bailey, like Bailey said, I saw you guys and dealt with you as much as my family, right? It's so
We were your other
different.
kids, without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So different.
That was the hardest part, right? With you leaving, it was like, yeah, we wanted you on the show
Yeah.
and things like that, but it's like you don't get to hang out with your two best friends every day.
Yeah.
Now I just hang out with one of my okay friends.
Yeah, definitely not best friends.
But for real, like, I honestly mean this. I don't know if it's a you thing, Chris, but
Yeah.
Jack and I have never gotten along better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you have to survive. Like, I need you.
Yeah.
So, like, it's been really good. Like,
Yeah. It's like, if you need somebody, you need somebody.
we
right?
used to
So-
joke, like, on the show that Jack and I would have a 6-month blow up.
Yeah.
Yes, every 6 months.
Hasn't
Wait,
happened.
we
No,
are close.
we're very, like everything's been great.
Yeah.
I think we both pulled up our socks, right? I mean, the dynamic with 3 is obviously all the duties are always spread mostly evenly, but they weren't.
Stop staring at me.
Let me stop and do a comparison with 3 children. Like they say
Yes.
the same kind of thing. Like if you've got 3 children, there's usually 2 will gang up on one.
Always.
And that may have happened in our case. Now that
Sure.
now that I think about it,
Yeah, it was definitely. But the thing is, I egged it on too. I was the
You
problem
made yourself
child.
a very easy target.
And I still do. It's kind of my thing.
Matt keeps his opinions to himself a little bit more now, which
Right.
helps, which
Yeah.
is good.
Sure.
And yeah, I just say, like, I'm so proud of Matt. He has really, this sounds like such a mom thing to say, but you've really pulled up your socks.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. And so have I. And it's been working well.
Yeah.
But whenever somebody asks, what did you realize when Chris left and I mean this,
Yeah.
you did so much for us.
Right.
In the fact that, like, when you were staying home alone and you're like, I have to fill the fridge, I have to change the toilet paper roll. You did that every day for us. We have to know when the concerts are. Like, part of our job.
Sure.
But we didn't really, we'd be like, oh, Chris, haha, you got this. We have to know how to do this contest. We have to know what's coming up next.
Right.
Well, let me tell you, as the guy who hits the buttons, this sucked.
Yeah.
Like having to pull your socks off. I legit have to look at emails now and comprehend
he
stuff.
reads emails, which I think is why we're getting along better.
We're going along, and we're going to continue. Jack, you got to keep your hands down because there's a
Sorry.
camera there, and you're going to be flopping in
talker.
it. So she's a real hand talker. So we're doing this again. This is a first time. Matt just gave that camera the middle finger, which ironically we'll probably talk about that
Yeah,
too.
we
Sure.
should talk about that.
But anyway, well, so okay, that's interesting. It's true, and pushing those buttons all the time. It was, there would have been a natural time to give that job to you, but I wanted that control all the time of pushing the buttons, and I'm doing a little bit of stuff in radio now, and I'm not pushing buttons, and I feel odd about not pushing the buttons. But
Yeah, how is that?
Matt really pushed a lot of buttons even
Oh, he
before he
did.
pushed the buttons.
This is like, am I a problem still? You guys Dear Diary? That's the worst.
This is actually an intervention. This is all
You
fake.
didn't have to go all these lengths to the intervention. Well, okay, Jack, who's the better board op?
Oh,
Oh, Do you guys have breaks? Like, can we go to break?
It's not like that anymore.
Oh, no.
No
It's-
cuts.
It's been busier, right? Like with 2 people and
Oh,
running the
for sure.
board. It's
Yeah,
like
sure.
it's crazy to like.
And that's why we brought you on, right? Yeah, at that
Yeah.
time too, because it is busy. Radio's changed so much. I mean, when I first started, again, you'd go on the air. Granted, we had to play records and CDs, and you had to do all of that kind of stuff. But now with text message and social media and all of that kind of stuff, it's crazy in there, especially in the morning, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a busy show. And yeah, as you mentioned, there's the text, there's the calls, there's figuring out those concerts and what we're going to do for our next segment. Like
Right.
there is no downtime. You got to be
Right.
on the ball 100%.
I think from an outsider, what has been nice to watch is that you spoke about you guys pulling up your socks and him feeling like it was time to step away. It's like you're really letting your kids thrive and grow, and listening to the show, it kind of has become its own thing. And they had done it for so long all together, but now it's like you two had done it for 10 years yourselves, and so now it's your show as well, right? And kind of taking it on your own. I think that it's been nice. You know,
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
let your kids grow up.
For sure.
Your real kids, your radio kids.
One of my favorite things is we'll end a break and we'll look at each other and like Chris would have never let us do that break.
And that's good and bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Or I would have just kind of complained about it, probably. right?
Sure, you would like. I love it. Back in the day, Chris would distance himself from a break.
Yeah.
This was their idea.
He just turns off his microphone slowly.
What is one of the fun things? Speaking of breaks, things that you've done that maybe we could break down here. Like you were talking about something before we got to this.
What was that again?
Yeah.
It happened. Well, it was like last week. What was it? Oh, we're talking about pants. Like
Oh, right.
we have this new segment called "Do You Remember?"
Right.
Yes.
And bootlegger is like rejigging stores. So we started talking about bootlegger and like, do you remember bootlegger?
Right.
And that's where you're like your first pair of pants.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people were texting us like, oh, it's so hard to find my inseam. I'm a woman and I'm a 38 inseam. I'm like, yeesh, I have a 30-inch inseam.
And we're talking like the leg.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm 36. And I said, yeah, I can't even imagine finding 38. And Matt did get quiet and just looked and was like, I'm a 30.
I feel like I have these tiny little legs. I do have to dig at the Costco bin. That's where I get my jeans now, like to find the 30s.
Yeah. Well, you're a 32-30, so that's a natural fit.
Not a 32. Let's just say that.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. As I've gotten older, I was always a 34 length, and now I'm a 32.
You're shrinking.
Well,
I
or
think
I'm
he's just hunching.
Oh,
Or the pants are like getting closer to the nipples.
that's right. You're pulling them up.
Yeah, for sure. Where was your first pair of jeans?
You'd probably San store.
Sure.
I'm thinking San. I would have to.
Yeah.
San was certainly mine. What about you?
We were big. We were a Walmart family.
Yeah.
But like, no, your first, like, you had your own cash. Like,
Okay,
taking
I
it.
see what you're saying. I would say it was probably bootlegger in the Spruce Grove Mall.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
we
was
would.
a big deal.
Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember the brand, but there was like I think it was bootlegger. You're right.
Pair of Jinkos.
Maybe.
Go Raven.
Yeah.
Oh, silver jeans. They were
Silver.
So cool.
That's what they were.
Yes,
Yes.
they were so
Silver.
cool.
With the S's on the back. That was a big
Yes.
deal.
This
And
blew
now
me away. Jack, how much have you spent on a pair of jeans? Like a pair of diesels back in the
yes,
day.
we were talking. I'm like elder millennial. Diesel was huge.
Yes.
And so yeah, before $100.
Yes. I had it.
And my parents did that exact same face, Chris.
But just wait, because True Religion was my era of jean, and they're kind
Yes.
of coming back. But I saved up some hard-earned babysitting money, and I think they were over $300 for one pair. For my first day of high school in grade 10, I bought a pair of True Religion jeans with my own money. We definitely lied to you about how much they cost.
Chris is like,
How many things do you keep from dads? Like, mums and daughters.
I don't think it's that hard to keep. I don't think we actively keep things from you. I just think you don't notice a lot.
Right.
yeah.
Or like blissful ignorance.
Like,
He
yes.
hears something and it just like, forget about it.
What would make him say how much were those jeans? You assume they're $30.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, Jack.
Just as much as you think, Dad.
How old are your daughters?
They are 8, 5, and then I have baby Trip who's almost 2.
So they're not spending crazy amounts, or you're not spending crazy amounts on
Not
anything?
yet, but I
Jack-
do find skincare. Skincare's big, even with the 8-year-old.
They're all at Sephora.
Yes.
What does your daughter have in her room?
A fridge, a little fridge for her cream.
Wow, I want one of those.
It's a great luxury to have.
And what a nice feeling in the morning when you put on some cold cream.
See? You and her, exact same.
Kennedy is living.
I mean,
Do you know
her
they
skin
sell
looks great.
they sell tubs of CeraVe for like $10 on Amazon?
I think she is using CeraVe, but it's cold.
I would suggest Bag and Balm or Balm and Bag or whatever it was called. They gave it on the udders of the cows. It's good for your complexion.
Oh, really?
too,
To keep the udders from getting chapped.
Yeah, but you could use it on your face as well. I don't think Kennedy will be into that.
Keep it cold. You know?
As long as it's from the skincare fridge.
Yes, the skincare fridge.
Your dad's hair product. What was it called?
Oh, the dry look.
Yes.
I would remember when we every Sunday. Again, it's one of those. What do they call that? Those
Core memory?
Core memory. Every Sunday before we'd go to church, that smell of Dad and that aerosol. It was called the dry look.
So you really wanted your hair to not look wet.
And but yet you want it to hold itself in place. So he'd spray that stuff on, and then my brother and I would go and use it too, just because we felt so cool.
Yeah, you got to.
Did you use the dry look? You both have quaffs? No.
We got Donald Trump hair.
Remember Lines of Sin? We're going to church.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that's exciting. So there you go. $400 jeans. I had no idea there was such a thing.
Now you know.
They're expensive now, like a good pair of
Yeah,
jeans.
but I feel like somehow less. Like I feel like
1,000%.
people might have learned that $400 jeans, like it's never worth it.
You
Right.
can't do it.
Especially
and now
not as
they're
a
all in the
teen.
thrift stores. If
Yeah.
you go, you'll see Rock and Republic, Diesel, and it's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
We heard a story about the store in Devon. Like the thrift store in Devon has a bunch of these.
Yes.
The thrift store in Devon is great.
That's what they're
I
saying.
will say, yeah. I've never looked for jeans specifically, but it is the small town thrift stores. They're not as picked over.
Sure.
You can
yeah.
relive.
You see any
relive your youth.
30-inch inseams, let me know.
I'll pick them up for you.
I guess it would be outseam. It's like inseams to the crotch. I should stop saying inseam. Length?
No, it is the
inseams.
inseam.
That's your
Yeah,
inseam?
that's your inseam.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
But thanks for showing
think
us your
you're-
crotch now.
Did the camera get that?
I think your outseam would be longer.
Yes.
Right to the
Okay.
hip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how long 30
So
inches
maybe
is.
you're like,
Sure.
I wanted to talk about, and I know Bailey wants to do a whole podcast on it, but Bailey and Jack both did something in Vancouver in December, and you both went to see T Swivel there.
We
T
certainly
Swivel or
did. Our
whatever her
girl
name is.
Tay Tay.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm still recovering. I don't know about you, but like I'm still recovering emotionally from that. And people are like, "Oh yeah, like you're postpartum. You're going through a lot." I'm like, no. It's not postpartum emotions. It's post Eras tour emotions, and it's still hitting me. Like I can't listen to Taylor Swift in the same way since that.
Did you cry at the show?
I sobbed at the show. I had glitter under my eyes, and the glitter fell progressively throughout the show to the point where it was just like all over me by the end. It was very emotional. I don't know if you felt the same way, but
Well, I don't cry. But
Yes.
We know that.
Period.
yes, but I felt like it. I did. I felt like
I
crying.
had big feelings.
I did.
This would be a moment to cry if I could.
I am a robot.
Scheduled cries. I didn't schedule it during the Earth tour. But I know exactly what you're feeling. I mean, we've been to our fair share of concerts, as many have, and there was something about that concert where you felt you could ask anyone for a ride home.
Yes.
It was just so friendly and so wholesome. And I know Matt just shakes his head, but until you experience it, there's nothing like it. And we grew up with this music. It's been a huge part of our lives, and
You're like 10 years older than her.
But
Grew
still,
up.
She started singing so early that
Fair.
people still grew up. Like she wrote a lot of these
also
songs.
she was born in '89. That's only 5 years older than me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's
6.
5 years.
No.
She's 5 years older than me and 5 years younger than you,
Yeah.
right? So she would be right in the middle.
So we're meeting right in the middle.
Exactly.
I feel like I was warned with the Eras tour that there was going to be depression after.
yeah.
I feel like I missed it because I only found out I was going 10 days before.
Right. You didn't have the
Didn't-
anticipation.
Yes, I didn't anticipate it for a year. I
Yeah.
wanted to go, but didn't find out until way later. So I feel like I kind of missed that depression, which is good.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I hope you're okay.
I will be okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I
had,
get it.
Like 2 years of lead up. Like I had a whole baby that didn't even exist prior to. I had Eras tour tickets and then had a whole baby and then went to the Eras tour. like
Those tickets are older than the baby.
Yes.
That is an era.
Yes, it was a full. I lived a full era knowing I was going to this show, so it was a lot of build up.
tell these guys and everybody that's watching and listening about who you met first on the way to the concert. That with the bracelet, your first bracelet exchange on the way there.
The sweet girl.
Yes.
Yes, we met the sweet, like the bracelet exchanging was just like,
Yes.
it really was
I
like,
couldn't believe how long she was building bracelets and an outfit for like all of this time.
For
It
an
was-
outsider, how does it work? First off,
the bracelets.
yeah, you just like go up to somebody, have a bracelet.
Kind of.
Yeah, where they're from and want to trade.
Yeah, you work pretty hard on your little bracelets. I'm a crafter in some ways, but that was like I have a little bit of ADHD. I don't know
naturally.
who I would have got. I don't know who I would have got that from. So it was a bit tough for me to focus on these bracelets. But I was like, oh, I know I need to make a few. Like I need to get going. So I had my little bracelet factory. I should have made way more actually. I probably went there with like 20.
That's a lot.
But it felt like not enough. There like these girls had arms full, and they
There's
wanted.
70,000 people there.
It was a
so-
lot. But we met the sweetest little girl and her mom, and she was from North Dakota. And they had traveled with her, and she was in a wheelchair, and they traveled with her all the way for the Eras tour. And she said that she wasn't brave enough yet to trade bracelets, so we were the first people she had traded bracelets with. Yeah, and she was the sweetest girl ever. And so at that point I was crying already. Before we hadn't yet even entered the building. And I was like, can we like hang out with you all night? What do we do? She just, yeah. Anna was her name, and she was the cutest girl ever. So that was just kind of the experience.
That's
and
an example of...
watching all of the young girls trading bracelets, and the young girls in their outfits, and the moms and the grandmas. And it just was really, yeah, it was amazing.
Well,
What did that Uber driver say about Taylor Swift people?
Yes, I had quite a few weird experiences that really showed, yes, this is a Taylor Swift concert and nothing else like this would happen.
Yeah.
But what Matt is talking about is the Uber driver. He said, I didn't want to drive anyone home from Taylor Swift because they had all been crying. It had been raining and there was glitter everywhere, and I can't get that glitter out of my car.
I can't imagine. See,
I was like, you're right, actually.
He'd rather have drunks throwing up in his
Oh
Jeep.
yeah, like barb's
Yes.
easy enough. Glitter lasts forever.
Glitter sticks with you.
I made a fringe jacket and then didn't think at all to bring anything to prepare for rain. Like I've never been to
Right.
like Vancouver. Of course, it was going to be raining, but my brain was really worried
we
about
never thought that.
bracelets and
No.
fringe and glitter. It was not thinking practically. We get out of the concert and I just am immediately soaked. So I'm just fringed and soaked, and I couldn't get in. I was like, an Uber, my outfit would destroy an Uber. It would financially ruin someone. Like I was so
0 stars.
so I
She
walked
shed all over my car.
I walked in the rain for 35 minutes back to our Airbnb because I was like, I cannot, like, I
can't do this to an Uber driver.
They wouldn't let me in, I don't think. Like, it was really a soggy fringe glitter situation. So he was right. Yeah.
Something that I noticed that I've never seen at a concert before is how strict they were with the bags when it
Yes.
comes to being at that concert. And
Right.
so my bag, unfortunately, was too big by the littlest amount, but they were very strict.
Yeah.
And so I put it at the side and just bid farewell to my bag, thinking I'd never see it again. And we were coming out of the concert, and I said, okay, well, let's just go by and just see if it's still there in the middle of downtown Vancouver. And there was a mountain of bags that everyone was not allowed to bring in. And everyone was so honest and so kind. They were like, that's my bag. There's my bag. We all got our bags back because in the middle of Vancouver, there was just a pile of girls' purses that couldn't fit into what they wanted.
Yeah.
And we all got them back.
And nobody
Yeah.
took them.
For 3.5 hours.
It was like living in the Barbie movie. It wasn't real life. It really
That's a
wasn't.
perfect analogy.
Yeah, I'm wondering now how I go to a normal concert. I haven't been to one since, and typically attend a lot of concerts. I'm like, if it's
Yes.
not 3.5 hours long, and if everybody isn't telling me I'm pretty,
And you have
how
the
am I
greatest superstar on earth there.
and it's not songs from my entire childhood up to now. I don't know. I don't know
Yes.
if
Well
I can
said.
enjoy concerts
Sorry,
in the
Jelly
same
Roll.
way.
It's just not the same.
Not the same.
Not okay.
Well, she's probably going to tour again.
Oh.
That's-
She's like not even 40. What do you mean?
Wait, not for.
After 40, you can't tour.
No, I'm
again.
saying that she's got lots of time.
My question is though,
Will it
what
ever
like,
come
what do you do? Like, what do you do
Yeah.
after this? After you've performed every era of your career and every song, just going back to doing one album and just like an hour and a half concert, like it's just nothing is gonna measure up for us or for her.
I was gonna say for both of us.
You know what measures up? $1 billion.
I know.
Like,
Ultimately,
come on, people.
Matt and I just wish we were her truck drivers. Like,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
right?
Heck yes.
you got big bonuses.
Even though there's no ethical billionaires, she's pretty close.
She's the
Oh,
best one.
yes,
Yeah.
Matt. Another mad opinion.
It's not an opinion, it's the truth.
Oh, that's good. That I expected that a lot sooner, to be honest. So there you go. Okay, we've talked about things that you've talked about on the air. I was trying to think of. Oh my gosh, the one day Stevie. I think we got to get Stevie on. Should I wreck the story by telling it now? The Stevie story and the puppy story.
I feel like it's got to be I feel like we got to get her.
We got to get her. But
And some puppies, perhaps.
the bottom line is she thinks her dog is on its last legs. It's not doing
Circling
well.
the
It's
drain.
not healthy at all, right? And it's having a real bad time, so she's going to take it to the vet, and who knows what's going to happen then. And they're eating supper, as we call it on the farm.
Oh, yes.
Quite.
And all of a sudden, her daughter says, "Mom, the dog just had a puppy."
No, Mom, there's a puppy on the floor.
Oh, there's a puppy on the floor. So didn't know the dog was pregnant.
I think you told me the story over the phone, and now it's coming
He's
back to
obsessed
me.
with this
I'm
story.
almost like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be on the show with you guys and we could talk to Stevie. And she's fantastic. She's such a character. But the way she told the story, and then all of a sudden the puppies just kept coming and coming and coming. And it went from this dog thinking it was, going to die.
You're just real pregnant.
yeah.
Been
And-
there.
Oh, look, there's a puppy on the floor.
He was doing fine post radio for a while until the puppy's on the floor. Something about it set him off because he's like, people need to hear this story. I can't tell people this story. What have I done?
to share it.
It was nothing in his life triggered like the regret or just like missing his job more than the puppies on the floor. So
Well, speaking of getting back into radio, I want to know how it's been doing your dream.
Yes.
The thing, like, you spent almost 40 years in country radio, like your passion.
Right.
But like, you would have traded it all in for what you're doing 2 hours every Tuesday to talk
Sleeping in.
sports.
To talk
Yeah.
sports. I mean, yeah, it's true. I mentioned it on the first show that I used to record on cassette sports talk with John Short, and I would record it on cassette because it would be on in the evening, and then I'd play it on my way to work in my vehicle. Like
so he invented Audible.
I
Sure.
invented Audible. I said
gosh.
podcasting or Audible
You could have been an unethical billionaire. Yes.
instead of just being unethical.
Oh.
But yeah, talking sports it really is my dream, right? Like I've always wanted to do that, and as you know, it's like Wrexham, which I'm watching now, which is fantastic.
So that's the one that's owned by
Right,
Buddy
right.
from Always Sunny, and then
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan
and
Reynolds.
Yeah, but somebody in there did a quote about soccer, and they said that in the world of things that really don't matter, soccer is number one on that list. And for guys like me, on the world of the things that don't matter, the Oilers are number one on that list, right? It's like it doesn't really matter, but it's just such a huge part of your life. It's like Oilers and then family and then.
I've never
everything
heard
else.
you say the Oilers don't matter before.
Isolate, clip, isolate. And that's the one thing I miss is like I don't talk sports with anybody anymore.
I was going to
Yeah,
ask about that.
absolutely
I was going to ask about that because we used to spend a lot of time when Garth Brooks was
Yes.
playing. You and I were talking sports, and Jack was like, you might as well be
don't.
talking another language, right?
And like I love Jack. We talk about a ton of stuff, but like, I don't talk. I go home. My wife doesn't watch sports.
No.
Family hates sports. She hates sports.
Yeah.
It was just me and the dog.
Dad's just a huge Oilers fan.
Love
Yes,
the Oilers.
yes.
If
When-
I'm not
when
in the
you
same room with
remember
her. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another story. I did want to talk about the Stollery Children's Hospital Radiothon. Had the pleasure to be in part of that for all of those different years, and this will be the first year that I'm not. But I did want to say that you guys are going to nail it, and we got to raise a ton of money. They're looking at building another hospital, which they desperately need. We know that, right?
Yes, big
so
time.
You guys, I always said it was the two worst days and the two best days combined of the year from a broadcasting perspective, because it's so tough, especially Jack, talk about your first few experiences once you became a mother, and all of a sudden you're looking at this completely different, right?
Oh, you're living it, right? I mean, you hear all of these stories from these parents and grandparents saying, I never thought I'd ever use the Stollery. Everything was fine. And then it all changed. And thank goodness the Stollery is there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have the broadcast coming up on the 30th and 31st of January.
Right.
And, before these radiothons, I always remember, Chris, you being stressed and you're
Yeah.
not sleeping. And I always remember being like, why doesn't he sleep? Like, it's fine.
Imagine you actually had to talk. I just sat there.
There we go again, saying like how
Right.
much you did for the Stollery, for us. And
Right.
so, yeah, this year will definitely be different without you talking for us all the time. But
Yeah.
I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to catching up with those families. Again, there's that radio medium of
Yeah.
catching up and seeing where their kids are now and how great they're doing.
Yeah, and they become so close to us. Like these,
I'm in a
really do.
hockey pool with the Nagel family.
right.
So like that's a
Yes.
family that's been there. You probably talked to them a million times, right? Like I still talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they listen to you talk about sports.
Yeah, at least somebody does.
They'll listen to you.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's important to mention, and it's just
Yeah,
it's
thank
a
you.
huge thing. And I said it on the first episode. I'm going to find a way to continue to get involved in that charity stuff because I miss it desperately. Like I miss that part of my life, and there's no excuse why I can't get back at it and do it in different forms, right?
And for our Italian listeners, you can donate at stollerykids.ca.
That's correct. Yes.
This is your time to
Yeah.
plug.
This
You,
is the
yeah, there you go, Chris.
this
Do your
is
line.
the hour. This is the
Do you
hour.
remember the phone number? Because Jack and I forgot it.
Yeah, we still don't know it. We
Oh,
better
man.
know that in a couple weeks,
I'll
though.
get that one and the Hope Mission one mixed up. Jack's so funny because she'll write the phone number on her hand
That thing's written today.
instead. Is there anything on your hand today?
Not today. No, I've had a
normally
pretty good day.
Nothing to remember.
Some people use notes on their iPhone. She uses her hand.
It's old school, and it works so well. So well. How many times did you guys read that number off of my hand at the
Yeah.
Stollery and the Hope Mission?
Yeah, that's very true.
True. Yeah.
Very true. Since I've been gone, some really big things have happened in your personal lives as well, Matt. Always no big deal. We've got big houses. I've got 2 houses, which I don't have. Jack's got this giant pie lot and this beautiful house and all these things. And all of a sudden, Matt, out of the blue, buys this McMansion.
Estate.
Did not.
Yeah,
We just had a little upgrade.
yeah.
And let me tell you, I have a very small part to play in this.
Oh, we know.
My wonderful wife, Sam, is
Yeah.
a highly educated
Yeah.
marketer
Yeah.
and the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
So I married well.
So you're paying for the groceries. She's paying everything else.
I basically just house labor.
Yeah, even groceries are pretty expensive
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. And Jack, of course, a big change in your life.
Yeah,
Right.
huge changes. I still call him my husband, but my ex-husband, Bobby, and I, we were together for almost 20 years, and we decided to separate in May of this year. So big changes. I mean, it was new show, new life, and there's been a lot of missteps along the way. There's no guidebook. I mean, I'm always like, how do I do this? Am I doing this right? And there's no guidebook. How do you do it, A, in the public eye, but B, making sure that your kids are happy and that your ex-husband feels valued? And it's just, yeah, it's learning as we go. And so far it's been really good. I mean, I was able finally to be open about it in October, kind of had my ducks in a row and decided.
And how difficult was that?
Easier than I thought. Yeah, it was harder to hide it.
Let me tell you, as an outsider, I've seen so many of these heartfelt moments. Never had one myself. Like Chris is always like, uh-oh.
Yeah, it's
It was incredible, though.
it
Like,
felt
as an
really
outsider.
good to get it out in the open and on the air. And I had spoken to my ex-husband, Bobby, about it. Said, hey, I'm broadcasting this tomorrow, just so you know. And I'm lucky to have the medium to do that.
Right.
To say, like, hey, this is what's going on in my life. And if you're going through the same thing, I get it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
People say, oh, you guys make it look so easy. You're co-parenting so well. How are you doing it? And I'd be lying if I said there's text messages in my notes, not on my hand, in my notes on my phone that are unsent because it's just, no, this is just a heat in the moment. Don't send this. And it's been working out pretty well.
Yeah.
Like kids are number one. We've got 3 of them.
And that's the most important thing. So hats off to you. And,
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
And that's that's the good and the bad of living your life in the public eye, right?
1,000%.
Because when things are going great and you're getting married and you're
buying estates, you want to tell everyone.
yeah, and then one day you lose your estate. Not that you will. Not that you will.
Guess where I'm living? The podcast studio.
Here, Matt is saying, I don't have any of these heartfelt moments. You're right.
Like, but I gotta give props to Jack too. Like, what an absolute pro she's been. I mean, like
thank you.
the life change
Yeah.
that she's
so
had to
big.
go through. Right. Like, I mean, first off, we lost Chris. He
Mm-hmm.
steps away, and then that's a big change. And then this happens. Nobody checks it at the door like her.
Yeah.
I remember Chris.
With the no crying.
Chris
Cry.
refused to check it at the door.
How are you finding that with the podcast?
Well, I've been living it my whole life, so it's a little bit easier, I think. But I also tend to inherit the emotional response to most things. When
Yeah.
you say scheduled crying, I've never heard of that in my life. I think that would be incredible. But I also really admire your vulnerability, because it would be easy also to just be like, oh, everything's fine for you. You didn't need to do that. You know, you didn't need to be open and honest and talk about co-parenting and things like that. But your kids are the best. And it's been, I feel like so many people have been able to look to you for support. And that's what's amazing about the public platform as well, is that you're inspiring other people too, and letting them know it's not always easy, but like you're surviving so everyone else can kind of, it's great. You do a great job.
Thank you. And not every situation is the same. I mean, right now, Bobby and I are in a good spot. Maybe we won't be in a couple years. I don't know. But that's the thing. It's just lots of people have been asking, how did you get here? There is no handbook on it. You just kind of follow with your heart and put your kids first. And that's the best advice I can give.
And get them a skincare fridge.
And the skincare fridge does wonders for all of us. Yes.
That makes complete sense. I think I have no idea how long this has gone. Like, does anybody have any clue?
This is how we're going to end every
Do you guys
episode.
have a producer?
Just
We
being
have
confused.
an executive producer. Okay.
He's always just holding up numbers. He has to hide because
Chris,
of the
when
double
have you ever
cameras.
listened to producers anyway?
We have
You know, this is your podcast. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
We're talking about not checking it at the door. These two kids, when I was dealing with some health concerns that I had.
Oh God.
Yeah, like I'd come into work every day convinced that I was going to die.
It was almost an entire year.
Yeah.
It was like Chris's dark year.
Yeah.
And like
We also
obviously.
have eras on the show.
Chris's Eras tour.
Well, and it's like obviously like you have this unknown in your life, and it's
Right.
like, oh, you're gonna be worried.
Yeah.
And like it was scary and everything
Yeah.
like that. But I remember Jack being like, "Well, I don't know, Chris. Maybe it is serious." I'm like, "Jack, stop!" And I'd be like, "It's probably nothing."
But the doctor did tell me,
Yeah, look at you now. You're fine. So relax, okay?
if I could go back in time, I wouldn't have ever gone into that doctor's office and him tell me that I had what he said I had, and it.
I mean, that's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably a good choice.
But these two, I mean, I did not check it at the door. I brought it in that room. Every time I'd finish a song, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna die soon, so it doesn't
Live like
really.
you were dying. Right?
Oh, and you'd see it too. He'd look like Eeyore before you hit the mics a bit. But like I can't say anything because like I don't check anything at the door either.
That's why Jack is so necessary.
Yes.
You always need one. Yes.
You're comfortable speaking about your situation with your? I mean, you left the state. You left us for a little while.
Oh yeah,
too.
I guess. Oh yeah, my maniac head. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm perfect. Oh right.
Did have an emotional part of
I
the show.
did.
Had a moment.
I did have a moment
Yeah.
because I just blacked that out.
Trauma response.
Things are good. Yeah, like I mean,
Yeah.
Matt's. I'm still on medication.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Makes me real sweaty.
Oh, this
But
room
I-
isn't helping that either.
SSRIs. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are good.
What if you don't know? What?
I pray that you never have to know.
Yeah.
Don't go on if you don't have to. But like, yeah. Mental health's a big thing, right? And it's hard.
sure.
Like I was at a point where I couldn't do the show. It was like physically impossible. I could barely function.
Yeah.
But
I think that's probably why the three of us got along so well, right?
We all have days where we couldn't function.
As long as they didn't line up. As long as
Yeah.
one of you was always
Sure.
functioning, it would work out. And now it's got to be one of you too.
And that's why the pressure's on to just, you can't have those passive aggressive days Jackie used to have with Matt. Remember those?
I cannot.
No, it just.
Well, I still sometimes try, but
Yeah.
it doesn't go as well.
Unless she's faking it, our relationship's never been better.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So you were the problem.
I would say Chris is the problem, but he was the problem. No, he wasn't the problem. It's just like,
You've had to take a step up, and the dynamics have changed.
sure, that's a good way to
Yes.
put it. And,
Yeah.
like, we know that this is probably it. The two of
Yes,
us.
very much so.
So it's like,
Yeah, we're on this island and we got to do it.
Yep.
Well, you're doing it. All right. Stollery's coming up. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Listen to them like I do every weekday from 6 to 10.
Hasn't heard a single second.
Can we talk about that?
Yes, I think that we should.
What should we?
Yeah.
I think we should talk about
Yeah,
it.
the
We got
last
a couple minutes for this.
Yeah, the last episode I said that
And it hurt my feelings a little.
Yeah, Bailey's like, we can't say that on them.
Yeah.
And I said, when I talked to Jack about it, Jack says, I can relate because.
100%. For some reason, and I didn't have any explanation for this, when I went on mat leave, all 3 times I could not listen to the morning show.
Yeah.
I was up, couldn't listen to it. It broke my heart to not be a part of it. And so when you, and I get where you're coming from. When you can't listen to the show, obviously it's not as good as when you were there, but it's also, it breaks your heart just to not be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it really does. So,
I think that your time will come to tune in.
Yeah.
It's good. I listen to it.
Don't feel obligated.
Bailey.
Like different shows, like I get it. Sure. When I get half in the bag, sometimes I listen to our old podcast.
Yeah.
I'll lay down in the bed and I'll just hear the three of us, you know.
That's really, that's so nice.
That is
And then
so
I'm like,
nice.
should I text him? No.
You up? You up?
He's not. He's not. No matter what time of day it is, he's not up.
Yeah, despite not listening to the show, could you listen to the show? Are you up? What time are you sleeping until now?
They're like notoriously would victimize his own schedule.
Yeah.
Like the one
You
thing
would
I
get
would
so
never
angry.
I would never put up with the
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you know, these mornings are so hard for me. Because the weekends you're up till 3:00 in the morning. Because you refuse to change your lifestyle.
Yeah.
The incredible thing about him is that he did mornings for so long without adjusting to the
Never.
morning schedule.
Never.
And part of
Yeah.
that is on our family. Like we
Yes,
just
sure.
have
This place
a
is like-
historically nocturnal group.
And now we've got another
And now
generation.
we've got a baby that won't go to bed before midnight, no matter what.
Which is your dream.
Yes.
That is true.
When Bailey was a little girl and I used to do the evenings on CISN, I would come home at 12:30 and Karen would give her to me and we'd watch Letterman and then we'd all go to bed at like 1:30, right? And then Bailey and I would wake up, Karen would go to work and we'd do our thing and yeah, so it's the Scheetz way.
It's intergenerational, like
Night owls.
like a bad schedule for sure.
Okay. It's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what Wednesday. What time you staying up till?
1:30.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it depends what time the Oilers play too.
That's like midday for you.
Yeah.
5:00 puck drop. You're just having lunch.
Pretty much. Well, you guys, this has been so much fun.
It has been.
I don't know if my therapist would suggest me doing this. I don't know if this is going to make my departure any easier. having this.
It's a little bit of a relapse.
Without a doubt.
You went back, okay? It's okay.
I appreciate letting me fourth wheel because
Yes.
I've never seen this all.
Right.
I've listened to it, but I've never been a part of it, so it was nice.
It's always good to see you too, Bailey, right?
Yeah,
Like you'd
it
fill in when
is.
Jack was away and it's
Yeah, but I've never been on with everyone before.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty awesome. Anyway, it's all worth the however long
relapse
it's going
that
to
you've-
take for me to get over this.
We're gonna have to.
We'll
We're gonna
come
have
back
to book
again if you
Give
want.
yourself grace.
every afternoon.
Sorry, Bailey, you're gonna have to deal with this one.
Well, that's it. Let old Dan Davidson play us out
Chris, Jack, Matt, and Bailey
Love it.
by request.
by request,
Fukamu.
equally requested.
I was feeling so high for a second there.
Aw.
What are those pills you take?
Don't worry about it.
Even when we got nothing to talk about, there's nowhere I'd rather be. 'Cause there's something about you and me just sitting around talking sheets.